Sage and Road 2. The countdown has begun. Racing is about to get underway, which happens now. 15 minutes starts to count down on the clock. And who's going to arrive at Copse Corner first? Well, it looks like Ian Elliott's made a good effort off of the line. Tim Sage has made a good start from Road 2, and he's going to be the driver that leads at Copse in the Mallock. Elliott, though, fighting back on the outside. Then Sam Wright and Richard Verheiden as the cars exit Copse Corner. Very different Silverstone circuit than these cars would have raced on in period.
Yeah, absolutely right. It's a good start, though, as you say, for Tim Sage and that number 42 Mallock U2. Big sideways moment for the pole position car, the Jomo of Ian Elliott. That's going to allow the Brands Hatch winner Sam Wright to put on the inside of him to take second place away. Here was a DNF in race 2, but no, Sam Wright's going to have to tuck back in behind Ian Elliott, who has better pace in the straight line, and Sam Wright's got a problem, I think, because he's losing pace in the straight there. Through has gone Richard Verheiden to third.
Is it just that the village car's not so powerful? I remember John was always quite keen to point out the car wasn't the fastest in a straight line. And that doesn't help really around this Silverstone circuit, does it? That's the Coventry Climax engine car, of course, where there's quite a few Reliant engine cars around him, but it's the Ford-powered Mallock that leads the way of Tim Sage as they turn their way up the corner. But Ian Elliott, who's obviously got a good motor in the Jomo, who is fighting back through Woodcote Corner on the inside line, and he will lead by a small fraction of a second.
Ian Elliott in the Jomo's got his mojo. He's leading at the start of lap number 2 of this race. Then the 47 car ahead of Tim Sage, Richard Verheiden in third. It is Sam Wright in fourth position, and a spin for Gary Brandon, number 74 there. Former low-cost racer, he's gone around and is sort of feeling wheel backwards towards the gravel trap. Hopefully he'll be able to keep it out and get the car turned back around and rejoin the race. He was in 5th position at the end of the first lap, but it's Elliott continuing to lead then from Sage in the Mallock. 2 different classes, those cars. Then Richard Verheiden and Miss Moneypenny in third spot. Sam Wright in fourth, trying to go with them. And because of that moment for Gary Brandon, there's quite a big gap back to the 5th place car, which is probably going to now be Peter Marsh in the first of the supercharged Austin Sevens.
Yeah, he had to go round the outside of the spinning car, which was a bit to the heart of the mouth moment as Gary Brandon rolled back into the runoff area. So as you say, top 4 have gone away. Look how much quicker through the bends Sam Wright is in that Village V2, the recreation of the car that John Village raced all those years ago here at Silverstone. John, who of course is a BRDC member and raced this car or a version of this car at Silverstone in the 1970s. But it is Ian Elliott that leads. Of course, Jomos have raced and won here at Silverstone previously, most recently in the hands of Ben Sims in Formula 4 1600 competition. But the slightly earlier model 750 Formula type car leads the way by 9 tenths over Tim Sage. Verheiden is third, Wright is fourth, and then for 5th place, Peter Marsh is hanging on, isn't he? Greg Catton not going as well as we've seen previously in the Dyson.
I was just thinking the same thing myself, really. He's down there in 6th place as he's come over the line. But it's interesting that different circuits do suit different cars. And yes, you were talking about the Village perhaps not being as quick in a straight line, not as powerful. That was probably mattered a little bit from us at Brands Hatch, different kind of circuit to the one that we're racing on here. Meanwhile, the Jomo is getting away, isn't it, in the hands of Ian Elliott. He's pulling away from Tim Sage in second in the Mallock. We're going to get a change for third here. Sam Wright, is he going to outbrake himself into Brooklands? No, he does get the car turned in. So the driver that took over that car from John Village partway through last season, won first time out at Alton Park. He does get through to third position, but it's Ian Elliott in that Jomo that continues to lead, but it's 3 cars now disputing second place.
Yes, and they're very close indeed, aren't they, as they headed up towards Woodcote Corner to complete lap 3 of this 15-minute encounter. And Sam Wright, despite potentially a lack of power, to set the fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 16.7, which is quicker than he went in qualifying this morning, but despite that just loses the position he gained from Richard Verheiden. So Verheiden goes back through in the Reliant powered race kits, which is not a car that raced in period, but it's built to the regulations of early 1970s 750 Formula. Back through goes Sam Wright, one of the youngest drivers on the grid is Sam. He's in his mid-20s. But Verheiden fights back again up the inside on the exit of Beckett's, and a spin behind and rolling back across the circuit is car number 5, I think, which is Mike Harvey, long-time competitor in the JB Special today. Here comes Sam Wright then, back alongside the driver who won his first ever car race last year at Alton Park. He's up to third now. Can he get second from Tim Sage at Luffield, I wonder?
Possibly so. He's going to try and go around the outside of him. Hits a bit of the oil though, and I think that sends him skittering wide, and that allows Richard Verheyen in the Moneypenny car to go back through. Sam Wright back down to 4th position then. I think that was just a question of hitting that line of fluid that ran across the track. Although it was dressed, it is still a bit slippery. So they come through now to complete lap number 4 of the race. Top 3 getting away. As you can see, they are in traffic now as well, going past some of the Class A cars, the Austin 7s. Bit of a twitch there for Sam Wright as he's up on the inside of Richard Verheyen through Copse Corner at the start of the next lap, and they're duking it out wheel to wheel as they head out of Copse down towards Maggots and Beckett. They're still together right on the inside line. Again, he locks up a little bit. Is he going to run wide? Oh, and he snaps to the left. Wasn't some contact there? He goes off, but I think he's done that on his own. And he has been pushing hard. He's been leaving it late on the brakes, but a mistake there ultimately has meant that Richard Verheyen is going to go through and be a more comfortable 3rd position. But he has lost ground to Tim Sagelock.
Yeah, probably backed out of it, didn't he? As Sam Wright's car sort of over-gripped and snapped him across the circuit. But yeah, I don't think there was a touch there. It was just a bit too quick into the corner. And he had lots of opposite lock-on when the car gripped up, and that to spat the car across the circuit. I think Peter Marsh has done the fastest lap we've ever seen from an Austin 7 in these types of races around here. 1 minute 22.273. There he is. He's battling away with Greg Catton. The Monoposto Austin 7 driven by Peter Marsh, who's 75, the driver originally from Scotland. He's got a couple of cars around him, in fact, hasn't he? Because you've also got 37, which is John Donnelly, who drives the race kits Merling this season. But Peter Marsh continues to battle away, former Caterham racer, and he drives this car that was originally converted into a race car in the 1980s. And it's been raced by Lawrence Bernie Atkinson. Was rebuilt after an accident a decade or so ago, but Peter Marsh drives it very well indeed. Although he's lost those couple of aces, he is by far the highest placed Austin 7 in this race.
Yeah, best of the Class A Austin 7s is John Moss, and Tim Martin, who we just saw a shot of there, is 2nd, and Harry Beacall is 3rd. The 35-year-old from just up the road in Longbuck, just up the A5. He's having his first ever race this weekend, so I expect daughter Ruby and son Charlie will be supporting him this weekend. Around the left-hander they go at Brooklands Corner, in front of the Jim Clark grandstand there, with a good smattering of spectators enjoying this race from that excellent vantage point. Giving a good view over Brooklands and Luffield Corner. We're just over halfway through the race now. 7.25 minutes left to go. Ian Elliott leading at the end of 5 laps in the Jomo. Make that 6 laps now, but the gap has come down to less than a second over Tim Sage, so we'll keep an eye on that one. Also just going to get a spot shot here of Gary Brandon just coming up behind these cars. He's continuing to recover after that spin at Copse on the 2nd lap, I think it was.
Yeah, he's got pace to pass those cars, so he might get a top 5 finish out of this yet. He's got the best part of half the race to go, but the lead gap continues to come down between Ian Elliott's Jomo and Tim Sage's Mallock, with Richard Verheyen in the race kits not too far back. Out of Beckett's corner they go with 6.5 minutes on the clock. Car number 14 there with Ambrose Butcher in the DNC, who I think might be making his race debut today.
Yeah, not 100% certain on that one, but no, he's I think a newcomer. As we're watching the battle with John Donnelly, Gary Brandon and Peter Marsh here, so this is the battle for 6th, 7th and 8th position. I think we'll find that just up ahead of them is Greg Catton in the Dyson. Yes, he is. He's there in 5th place in the 2nd of the Class D cars. But then you've got this 3-race wrap, including Peter Marsh in the best of the Class B cars and a couple of the Class C machines. John Donnelly very close to the back of Peter Marsh in that supercharged Austin 7 as they head into Brooklands Corner for the 7th time in the race. Brandon, as I say, former low-cost racer, and the number 74 car just behind him. Also a scrutineer, isn't he, these days with the 750 Motor Club events as well. He's not taking part.
Sam Wright's not that far ahead of them, is he, after his looping spin? Dramatic spin, really, that he had earlier. And 14 seconds ahead of Greg Catton. There's a couple of lapped cars in there, including, I think, the guy that just went out of shot was the Class A leader, wasn't it? John Moss, the Buckinghamshire driver in the 1933 Austin 7 Sport, known as Dog Bowl. The car that was previously owned by Bill Boddy's daughter, the former editor of Motorsport magazine, owned that car many years ago. There it is, I think, isn't it? The first of the unsupercharged cars, non-supercharged cars, John Moss, with Tim Mile not terribly far behind, the gap about 6 seconds. Both of them did a personal best lap last time, 1 minute 33.2. The lap time for the class leader, John Moss. The overall leaders are doing 1 minute 16s, and the gap has gone out to 2 seconds now between Ian Elliott and Tim Sage. Still a pretty close race up front here, not quite the position trading as we saw at Brands Hatch, but not big gaps nowadays really at the front of this category.
No, that lap, interestingly, was quite a bit slower from Tim Sage than on the previous lap when he'd done the best lap of the race, a 1:16.1, a couple of seconds outside of the lap record set by Paul Mason over a decade ago. Now we've just got a glimpse of the number 85 car. That's John Moss, the Class A leader, having been lapped by number 37, John Donnelly, who's now in 7th position in the race. There's just under 4 minutes of the race left to go. Another race later on for the historic 750 Formula cars. Over the line they go once again. Gary Brandon has yet to find a way past Peter Marsh, has he? But does have, I think, the capacity within him to do it. He's done a 1:20.0 compared to Marsh, who's done a best lap of 1:21.3 during the course of this race. So he should, in theory, be able to find a way through before the end here.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? But they're losing touch with John Donnelly ahead, who's running well in 6th position. And into Cops Corner, is that John Moss? No, that's a bit further back, isn't it? That is Harry Beacle, the 35-year-old from Northamptonshire, who's having his first race today. Hasn't done sprints before. He's in a 1935 car that was converted in Ireland, actually, into race spec in the 1990s. A car previously owned by Simon Blakeney Edwards and Archie Waterfield, so hadn't raced in Vintage Sports Car Club events prior to today. So good to have that car out with the 750 Club, I think, for the first time. Today there was a car heading down the pit lane, which was Nick Hayward-Kirk, local Buckinghamshire man, who traditionally is at the front really of these races. S-Car 33, which is one of the Class B cars. Yeah,
sometime Mazda 7 and Caterham racer, Gareth Cordy. Now racing in the Austin 7 class in one of the supercharged cars, but quite a distance behind Peter Marsh, the leader in that class here in this first race of the day.
There's a bigger difference, I think, between the supercharged cars and the non-supercharged cars today as well, isn't there?
Yes.
On the straights of Silverstone. A couple of minutes on the clock then. There is John Moss, the Class A leader in the ex-Nonda spanning body Austin 7, a car that's also been raced by Simon Frost and Simon Gallen in the past, both 750 Motor Club racers at one point or another. Gap is 3.2 seconds, by the way, for the overall lead between Ian Elliott and Richard Hyde. And the lead for John Moss has gone out for 8 seconds in Class A. He's just on a 1 minute 32.8, which is there or thereabouts where he was in qualifying. There's Sam Wright, who had that spin at Beckett's earlier. Hasn't really lost too much further time to the leaders, so later on he should be able to contest for the lead again, I should think. Very, very close for 6th out of for 7th out of Beckett. The much more powerful Austin 7 though stays ahead of Peter Marsh, but Gary Brandon, the former low-cost man, was right alongside for a moment. Very different type of racing, of course, for these drivers that come from Caterham's or low-cost to race in historic machinery like this. Tim Mile is in shot there. One of the oldest Motorsport UK licence holders is Tim Mile, who's been racing since 1979. And a car that was built in 2015 into racing specs, the Mark 13 that Tim Mile drives. They're all being lapped, aren't they, by the leading cars? I wonder if that's changed the complexion of the leaders at all.
Yes, so that could come into play. We've got 30 seconds left on the clock now, so they're going to have one more final lap to go here.
I think Verheiden had got past Tim Sage, but then Sage is back ahead, because Sage's previous lap was a full second quicker than Verheiden, but there's only 6 tenths between them at the line, so there was a change of second briefly, but Tim Sage has gone back through in the Mallet U2.
Yeah, about 3 seconds from first to second here as well between Ian Elliott, who's pretty much led lights to flag, hasn't he here? But there's the scrap going on a bit further back, and Verheiden and Sage there right at it.
Yeah, Verheiden back past Tim Sage. And as former Silverstone commentator Ian Titchmarsh would be keen to say, the reason why it's called a Mallet U2 is because U2 can build one, as the Mallet family advertised back in the 1960s when the company was founded, and great to have one of their earliest cars on the grid. But it's going to be a new car to win, I think, in the category today, and a first time winner. You can still see the novice cross on the back of Ian Elliott's car, but he has been pretty dominant today at Silverstone. Very well-built machine, obviously, and Ian Elliott will take the checkered flag and win round 3 of the Raceparts Historic 750 Formula Series. After a last lap pass, Richard Verheiden takes second. Tim Sage actually faded on that final lap, did he not, in 3rd position in that Mallet. Sam Wright will be 4th, but there's our Class A winner, that's John Moss. So he comes out on top of Class A for the first time this season. Charlie Plain Jones, the double Brands Hatch winner, not contesting the races unusually today. 2nd in that class goes the way of Tim Mile. Harry Beacle should be 3rd. So for class honours, Class C was Ian Elliott, D was Tim Sage, A we just mentioned was John Moss, and we wait for the Class B winner, Peter Marsh, who was involved in that battle with Gary Brandon. Just ahead of them, Greg Catton was caught by John Donnelly at the end. Yeah. Catton a long way further back than usual. And Peter Marsh hangs on to 7th, yes,
he does,
and wins Class B.
Yeah, I thought that might change before the end of the race, but yeah, Peter Marsh completes our list of class winners in that historic 750 Formula Series race. So we lost Nick Haywood-Cook to the pits, but I think probably everybody else that started that race will have made it to the checkered flag, and by the end,
I imagine those 3 cars who are in the assembly area will be doing laps out of session
at lunchtime
coming next.
Yes,
and will hopefully be out for a bigger grid for race 2. But the results for race 1, the Jomo winning for the first time in historic 750 Formula competition. Ian Elliott the winner. Richard Verheiden was 2nd and Tim Sage 3rd. Sam Wright was 4th and Greg Catton 5th, with John Donnelly in 6th. The first of the Austin 7s was Peter Marsh. Gary Brandon took 8th, and the final car on the league lap, I think. John McDonald was 9th ahead of Ambrose Butcher, Paul Mason, Mike Harvey, Gary Cordy, and then the first non-supercharged Austin was John Moss. He was 14th overall. Ian Chappell was a finisher, as was Tim Mole, Harry Beacle and Phil Livingstone. Nick Haywood-Cook, the only driver who headed to the pit lane.
So, some great historic action there to bring us into a little bit of a break, and while we have some downtime, we'll catch up to some of the drivers then. We'll barge in on Ian Elliott here, who took the victory in that first race of the day for the Raceparts Historic 750 Formula, and as is tradition, I give the winning hat. He's got off on the other side. Let's walk around, walk through the camera, and give you this, Ian. Congratulations.
Right, thank you very much.
How was that out there for you?
Yeah, very good, brilliant. The first race at this track, I really loved it.
I mean, talk us through it, because I think you had about a 3-second lead by the end of the race, there or thereabouts. Really? So pretty good to drive out there?
Yeah, really good. Plenty of grip, and engine's going really well, which is better than the last round, so thankful really.
And you've brought the sun out as well. Yeah. That's quite nice.
Yeah. Lovely.
Oh, brilliant stuff. Well, talk us through your Jomo then. What's the history behind the Pigsty Racing?
I'm borrowing the car at the moment from someone. I've just built a new engine for it and stuff, but hoping to purchase it so I can carry on doing this. I'm enjoying it too much now.
So you're on your best behaviour with this car, though?
Yes, definitely. Got to look after it.
A lot of people out there, a lot of drivers before have said there's quite a bit of oil down. It seems a bit slippery out there. How did you find it?
It wasn't too bad, as long as you avoided the where it had been dressed up. It seemed to be okay.
Sounds good then. What do you take from this into the next one? Another victory, or?
I hope so. Yeah, hopefully.
It's always on the cards, isn't it?
Definitely.
Well, congratulations there, Ian, on the victory there. Go and enjoy your lunch.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ian. Whilst I've got you, let's have a chat to our second place driver in Richard Verheiden. Let's interrupt this conversation here. Richard, congratulations, second place. How was that out there for you?
Well, that was all right. I think I started in second, finished in second. First time on this national track, and hated it in practice, loved it in the race. That was real wheel-to-wheel racing, like it should be. I think was a couple of millimetres between cars on a number of occasions, so that was really nice. That was good fun.
You were swapping positions there. You managed to grab it on that final lap. Talk us through that battle.
Oh, well, it's all down to the back markers. You know, we're running Austin, supercharged, normally aspirated cars. There's all sorts of different speeds out there, and it's all about reading the back markers. Call it racecraft, call it luck, I don't know, but it certainly worked.
And talk to us about your Merlin here then. What's sort of the history behind it?
This is C-Class car. It's an 850cc engine. Most of you will know it from the Reliant Robins or the Reliant Kittens of Del Boy and Rodney. That's what's powering it.
Oh, great stuff, and it's powered you to second place today. What do you take into the second race of the day later on?
A cup of tea, I think, and a sandwich.
Some lunch, yeah, I agree.
I'll go better with a sandwich and a cup of tea.
Oh, great stuff. Well, I'll leave you to that then. Thank you so much for the chat, Richard, and we'll see what you can do in the second race.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Let's have a chat now to Tim Sage, who finished third in that race then, in his Mallock. Tim, congratulations. Top 3 for you overall. How are you feeling?
Yeah, good. Yeah, I was a bit disappointed that I lost second to Richard on probably the second to last lap. But I got balked behind back markers, which often happens with me, and he was very good today. And first time on this half of the circuit, I've driven the other half of the circuit. So when we went out to practice, I thought I knew where the corners were, so I had to suddenly relearn the track. But I think I know it now. I think I've got it logged now. We're okay. It was a good race. Enjoyed it. Fast track, lovely.
You got it logged now for the second race, so maybe a second place, a win on the cards, maybe.
We'll try it. Always improvement. Yeah.
Always. I love that. I'll talk to us about your machine then, your Mallock U2. Talk to us about the history of it.
Well, it's a Mallock Mark IV, 1964. They used to race the same car in Formula Junior, Formula 3, and then of course they had the Clubman series as well, which doesn't really exist anymore, which is what it was built for. Very successful in the time. So it's a very historic car. We've got a sort of detuned Ford engine in it to keep on par with the Reliant engines. But it's a beautiful car. It teaches me all the time. It's teaching me. It knows a lot more about circuits than I do, but no, it's fantastic to drive. Very forgiving. Now I've got it set up how I want it. Yeah, I can almost do what I want with it. It's lovely.
Almost sounds pretty good, and we'll find out how you get on later on then.
Okay, cheers.
Thank you very much, Tim. Congratulations on that third place.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And well, it has come to the lunch break now, so we'll have a quick cut away. That was easy for me to say. To a couple of messages, and when we come back, hopefully there'll be some people to talk to in the pit lane.